This day and time. What happened today, years ago?
Okay, now let's pivot one more time. We're staying with June 25th, but jumping back further to 1788, a really foundational moment for American democracy.
Virginia ratifies the U.S. Constitution.
Right. Our sources explain, the first attempt, the Articles of Confederation, that wasn't really working. Too weak.
Yeah, pretty ineffective. So a new constitution gets drafted in 1787, but it needed approval. 9 out of the 13 states had to say yes for it to become law.
And Virginia's vote.
Yeah.
It was a big deal.
Well, absolutely pivotal. It was the most populous state, hugely influential. Its decision carried enormous weight. Honestly, without Virginia, the Constitution's legitimacy, maybe the whole Union, would have been really shaky.
And the debate inside Virginia sounds like it was intense. You had these big figures, the Anti-Federalists, Patrick Henry, George Mason.
Yeah, heavy hitters.
Yeah.
And they were deeply worried. They saw the potential for this new central government to become way too powerful, maybe tyrannical.
So they were digging their heels in.
They were adamant. They demanded a Bill of Rights, explicit protections for individual liberties before they'd agree. They really feared government overreach.
Okay, so that's one side. Who was pushing for the Constitution as written?
That was the Federalist camp, figures like James Madison leading the charge. They argued that the Constitution's structure, the checks and balances, were enough, and that a strong central government was vital for national stability.
That they were willing to bend a bit.
Well, the sources show they understood how strong the opposition was. They realized they probably needed to compromise to get Virginia on board.
So June 25th, 1788, the vote happens in Virginia.
Yeah.
And it was close.
Incredibly close. 89 in favor, 79 against. So they ratified the Constitution. But, and this is crucial, it came with a strong recommendation attached. They formally requested 20 amendments and a separate Declaration of Rights.
Okay, so it sounds like a win for the Federalists who got the ratification, but the Anti-Federalists really forced their hand on the rights issue.
That's exactly it. It's fascinating because technically the Anti-Federalists lost the vote on ratification itself, but you could argue they ultimately won't on the core principle.
How funny.
Their fierce insistence basically cemented the idea that, okay, yes, we need a stronger government, but it absolutely must be balanced by clearly defined, guaranteed human rights.
And that led directly to the Bill of Rights.
Directly. James Madison, who was a key Federalist, remember?
Right.
He took the lead in drafting the Bill of Rights just a few years later, in 1791. And he incorporated many of those demands from the Virginia Anti-Federalists. Freedoms like speech, religion, fair trial, the things we now see as fundamental.
So it's a great example of how sometimes losing a vote doesn't mean you lose the argument in the long run.
Precisely. It shows how principled opposition, even in defeat, can fundamentally shape the future and embed